debate for municipalities? Yes, raise your hand. Oh, so you're all experienced at this. Not debate, just a Q&A. Well, we brought to you a debate because we think it's really important that the candidates actually get an opportunity to speak and respond to each other. So the format for tonight's going to be a little bit different, so bear with us. You'll see on the screen we have an app. It's called Pigeonhole. If you go to phlive.at on your phones right now, you can actually sign in and you can actually bid for some of the questions that the candidates will be asked for. If you're challenged in using your smartphone in this way, no problem. On the form that you got when you signed in today, you can actually write your question and hand it up to us, and we'll put it on the software for you. We have a couple of pieces of business we want to get out. You can actually view the web. It's brought to you by the Tri-City TV and our Audi group. The software password is Chamber, so it should be easy for you to remember. This is a bit of a complicated format, so I'm just going to read the rules exactly as they follow. So, we're going to start with opening statements. Each candidate will have 1 minute to present. Next, we will call up the following pairs to debate questions from the Chamber and the public in this order. First, our mayoral candidate Greg Moore and Eric Kerrigan, if he arrives. Second, Riaz Lakhani and Nancy McCurrett. Third, Amrit Gill and Mike Forrest. Fourth, Glenn Pollock and Aaron Dimerkaya. Sorry, Aaron. Fifth, Laura DuPont and Daryl Penner. Sixth, Sherry Carroll and Wayne Markland. And last, Michael Wright and Brad West. And I should say that Dean Washington sends his regrets, but he is out of town on business. The mayoral candidate at this time will have 12 minutes. Oh no, we may have to do this on the fly. No, it's not going to happen. And I will have the power at this time to shut them down, so that'll be fun. Councillors will have 8 minutes per pair. We will ask candidates public questions until their time is up. So the 8 minutes means that the first question will come. It'll be a chamber question that we're going to ask. They will have 1 minute each to respond. And then the person that responded first will get a chance to ask for 30 seconds a question. The other person has the opportunity to respond for 30 seconds. And Eric is here. That's great. The second question will come from the live. So that phlive.at that you signed into, you'll see the questions up there. And if you go onto your smartphone, you can vote for them and you can push the questions that you want asked up on the list. And I'll be taking from those questions and asking of the group. Does everybody understand? You'll get into the flow shortly, I promise. So, candidates, are you ready? We have one mic for sure that's working right now, so we'll start over there. There's two. Yeah, that one's a bit too. Oh, they know each other too well. So first we'll hear our opening remarks from Greg Moore, and Greg, you're going to have a minute.
Hi. First of all, I want to say thank you to the Chamber of Commerce. First of all, I want to say thank you to the Chamber of Commerce for putting on this all candidates debate. It's very important. I want to thank you for coming out tonight, as this is our only all candidates debate in this election. So it's important that we get out and we ask the questions. You know, I've been really proud to serve this community for actually 22 years now. I worked for the city for 10 years as a youth worker and a city planner, and then 6 years as a city councilor, and then the past 6 years as your mayor. I love this community. My wife and I both grew up here, and we're just so passionate about trying to make this community a better place. One of the things I get asked a lot about is what are you most proud of in the last 3 years of your term on as mayor? And for me, it isn't about a project, it isn't about a piece of policy, it's about good governance. It's about making sure that we're a team environment at council. It's making sure that we're working together and that making sure that all 7 of us who might have different ideas in different directions, our voices are heard, our ideas are put forward, we have good debates, and that we can move forward in the direction the council decides. And that's what I'm most proud of, and I hope to do that in the next 4 years coming up.
Good evening, everyone. I guess most of you have seen the televised Mayoral debate. If you haven't, you can see it on YouTube now. And in that, I started out asking the long-standing question of why Graves were never informed the city that he wasn't being charged for services that everyone else was. And also one of the panelists came out with a question that I never would have thought of. Why the city was spreading great work, you know, with children. But I think it was under a bridge, but possibly more than one area. So I see some integrity problems as far as keeping secrets in City Hall. And I don't believe it is all over the place where everyone's involved. And that's what I'd like to bring to the City Hall, is that everyone is informed.
So next we'll have, oh, there we go. Riaz Lakhani.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Riaz Lakhani, and I'm running for a position with the Port Coquitlam City Council. We have flooded our downtown with apartment buildings. Hundreds of new families are now calling Port Coquitlam their new home. We need to refocus our attention on rebuilding, improving, and creating new community and recreational facilities required for our growing population. Evergreen Line is coming to Coquitlam Center. We missed out on the extension, but we need to ensure that we have express, non-stop bus loops between Coquitlam and Port Coquitlam. Being a Bachelor in Commerce, Advanced Diploma in Software Engineering, Certificate in Program Management, and over 18 years of experience working for governmental, private, and public organizations, I think my qualifications and my experience are well suited for the City Council position. Whether it be community, commuting, safety, economy, or green initiatives, I will ensure that our voice is heard at the City Council. Thank you. Thank you, everyone.
Nancy McCurry.
Good evening. My name is Nancy McCurra. I'm a committed community activist, and I'm passionate about having your voice heard on Port Coquitlam City Council. My husband Ray and I have lived and raised our 4 children in Port Coquitlam for the past 22 years. In order to understand the scope of your concerns, since June, I have personally visited over 4,500 homes and several local businesses. People say they want to see women on council, as currently there are none. I will advocate for you for solutions to transit and traffic issues, affordable housing, recreational improvements, promoting buying local goods and services, fair and affordable taxes to feel safe and our places of natural beauty protected. I work for TELUS on the mobility, high-value customer service team from home. I am the past president of Local 51 of the Telecommunication Workers Union. It would be an honor and a privilege to serve and represent you on council. Nancy McCurra.
Thanks, Nancy. You guys can clap if you like. Not too much. Our next will be Amrit Gill.
Good evening, everybody. I would just like to thank everybody for coming out, and the Chamber as well for putting this event on. As people might know, my name is Amrit Gill. I've been a resident of Port Coquitlam my entire life for 31 years. I've gone through our school systems, our youth programs, our sporting, everything from the rec centers to whatever you can think of. I've been there, I've gone through it. My goal for this city council is to make sure everything is on track and is going in the proper direction. Our city is growing. We need someone with a new vision and a new face to make sure our city grows, not just for our residents, for our businesses. In Port Coquitlam, we have a community atmosphere, and we should keep that community atmosphere and make sure that our future is brighter for everyone, including our children. Working in my career, I've been working with communities, and I've been in the community, and I listen to people, and I can understand what people want. I want to create an open door policy if I get into council, where you can call me, you can express your concerns, you can come to me and be at ease to know that I will be listening and I can have your voice heard within council.
Thanks, Emma. The next is Councillor McForest.
Yahoo! Get on with it. Hey, but Bo Mike Forrest, eh? My wife Karen and I are third generation, proud to be a third generation Port Coquitlam residents. I'm an independent candidate. I pay my own way so there can no perception of bias with respect to funding sources. Future Port Coquitlam excitement would be new community rec center, hopefully a pedestrian and cycle breezeway under the CPR tracks. Certainly continuous improvement assessments that are going on now and continuing, and for exemplary customer service, residents' interaction with city processes. But our facility and service wishes will always exceed our available dollars. With your support, I would like to be part of the team to work toward fiscally, get that? Fiscally responsible and balanced approach to delivery of chosen facilities. Civic elections are a measure of our community spirit and energy. For Hometown Spirit, November 15th, ready, set, vote Mike Forrest.
And next is Councillor Glenn.
Thank you. Thanks everybody for coming tonight. My name is Glenn Pollock. I want to get reelected to a third term on City Council. I think I've done a great job so far. I want to continue to do so. I've resided in PoCo for 35 years. I've been married to my wife Christine for 33 of those. Got 3 wonderful sons, 3 beautiful grandchildren. My first volunteering position was over 25 years ago at the PAC committee at Lincoln Elementary, and I've been volunteering in a number of capacities since then. I continue to this day to coach lacrosse. I've coached lacrosse for about 25 years. I'm currently coaching a U14 field team. I'm proud to have been part of this council. I think this is a great council, great mayor, great council. We've done a lot of good things on this council. We've established a PoCo Foundation. We've established the Sports Alliance. We built a new synthetic field. We've planned for the new rec center and arena. I think we're doing a great job, and as I said, I'd like to continue to do so. One of the most important things we've done is cut property taxes. We're one of the only cities in Canada where, I think the only city in Canada where property taxes actually went down, but services went up. So I'd like your vote and your support. I've had it twice already. I'd like it a third time to get reelected to council. Thank you very much.
Next is Aaron Demarcaya.
Hi, good evening, everybody. First, thanks for everybody coming out. My name is Aaron Demarcaya. I'm running for Coquitlam City Council with your support. And being a former athlete, and I definitely will work for all children have a new rec center, and I will be your voice in City Hall. I have a strong vision for our city. I love living in the city with my 2 kids and wife, and November 15, I vote for Aaron Demarcaya for strong vision and voice. Thank you.
Thanks, Aaron. Next is Laura Dupont.
First, I would like to say thank you, a sincere thank you to everybody who came out tonight for taking the time out of your day to take part in this important democratic protest. My name is Laura Dupont, and I'm trying to bring strong leadership to Port Coquitlam Council. My work on the transportation committee has shown me that we have some serious transportation issues in this community that have to be dealt with. I think the citizens of Port Coquitlam deserve much better transit than we're getting. I want to work towards keeping a strong local economy and making sure we have a very vibrant downtown core. I want to keep Port Coquitlam an active and fun community and make sure that we provide lots of opportunities for our seniors and make sure that all kids get the opportunity to play. I will continue the hard work that I've done to protect our parks, trails, and green spaces. Those are important things that give us a huge quality of life in the city. I hope you'll consider electing a strong leader to Port Coquitlam Council. Elect Laura Dupont.
Thanks, Laura. Okay, I think I got a minute to work. So, Councillor Penner, Daryl Penner.
This is, we can do the roving mic thing, you know, if anyone remembers that. My name is Daryl Penner. Thank you very much for coming out here. I'm not going to ask. I won't ask you to vote because I know you're going to vote. That's why you are here. I hope that you'll vote for me again. I have had the great opportunity and the pleasure to serve this community for the last 14 years. Someone asked me the other day, well, when did the election start? I said, well, it started 14 years ago, and the last one started for me another 3 years ago. And basically, what I've been on council with, or what I've done on council for the last 3 years, I hope that I deserve your vote, and if I don't, then we definitely should have other people on this council. But I think you can see what's been going on in the city. It has been a remarkable place to live. We are one of the best communities to live in the entire Lower Mainland. We are leaders in a lot of environmental issues. So I hope to get your vote on the 15th, and on the 16th, come to the Salmon Festival. Thanks.
Thanks, Jeff. The next candidate is Sherry Carroll.
Thanks again. My name is Sherry Carroll. Now, in 2008, I was elected on a promise to bring a balanced approach to Coquitlam City Hall. As a professional geoscientist with my diverse working background in the resource sectors, my hands-on retail experience, and my well-known advocacy for arts, culture, heritage, and the environment, I was able to do just that. I was so pleased to contribute to the successful completion of the Coast Meridian overpass, see, I said, right? And the Broadway connector. Our innovative 3-bin garbage collection system was a hit, a real hit. The Coquitlam River Watershed Roundtable Initiative worked. I was even more pleased to see PoCo create its own heritage museum. If elected, I pledge to do more of the same effective work for the community of Port Coquitlam. After all, I already know how to do the job. So you can check out my flyers on the tables at the front to see what I think is coming up in the next 4 years. Can't fit it in this 60 seconds, but you can have a look. Thanks again.
Thank you, Sherry. And the next is Wayne Markland.
Good evening. My name is Wayne Markland. I'm a resident, homeowner, and taxpayer at Port Coquitlam. I bought my home here in 2007. But before I go any further, I want to let you know this is a Movember. So please support men's health, please. I want to bring energy and new ideas to the table. I believe in accountability, transparency, and commitment. I founded Can Do Glass in Burnaby, BC in 1992. I sit as the president and CEO. In 2013, I ran in the provincial election as an independent in Burnaby North, as that's where my business is located. But there's more about me. And the folks at home don't have an opportunity to see my flyer. So please go to www.waynemarkland.ca and you can find out more about me. I played professional sports when I was younger, and it taught me a lot about determination and ability to make strong commitments.
Thanks, Wayne.
Well, Wayne Markland.
Councillor Michael Wright.
Good evening, everybody. My wife and I have lived in Port Coquitlam for nearly 50 years, and we have raised our 2 children here. We're both passionate about our community and have taken an active role in the life of our community. I'm a retired professional engineer, and I have the time and desire to serve. I've spent many years on City Council, and it has been a privilege to serve in that role and to play a significant part in the development. I can turn the page here. Of this beautiful city. I believe I have served the residents of Port Coquitlam with integrity and commitment, as well as being the voice of reason on council. I'm an independent candidate. I'm not supported or endorsed by any organization or business. I look forward to the challenging work that lies ahead and being part of the planning process for the new community centre, implementing the new arts and culture plan, as well as tackling the annual financial plans.
Thank you, Michael.
Thank you.
And last but not least, Councillor Brad West.
Good evening. My name is Brad West, and I'm proud to be one of your city councillors here in Port Coquitlam. I want to thank the Chamber for this opportunity and for all of you for participating in our democracy. For the past 6 years, I've had the privilege to serve our community, a community that I love, a community that I've lived my entire life. And during that time, I've worked hard to listen to the concerns of our residents and bring forward positive solutions to make Port Coquitlam an even better place. We have a lot to be proud of in this community and much more work to do. Through every issue, I've always been guided by the values of our residents and by listening to your concerns. With your support on November 15th, I would be privileged to continue to serve as a strong community representative, a strong voice for your issues, and to continue the work of building a city that you can be proud of. Thank you.
Okay, well, that concludes the opening statement portion of our event this evening. So the next part that we're actually going to get to is we're going to give the chamber question first, and I'll remind the candidates that you'll have a minute to respond, each in order, and the person that starts the question to respond will be the first person to ask the question back to that other candidate. Okay, and you'll have 30 seconds. So I am going to remind you that there's an iPad here that has the timer, so please take note, because I will cut you off. So first, we'll hear from our mayoral candidates, Greg and Eric. Will you please approach the podiums, please? So for the chamber question, Greg Moore will be given the opening comment for this question. So, mayors, do you support the 2014 Mayor's Transportation Plan? What funding model would you recommend for the referendum this spring?
Thank you very much. And I was honored to be chosen by my colleagues around this region, the mayors around this region, to head up the subcommittee to develop a 30-year vision and a 10-year implementation plan for how transit and transportation is to go forward in this region. We did that in a 4-month period. It was an incredible amount of work, but an incredible document that we were praised by business groups, environmental groups, post-secondary, tourism groups, different levels of government, of how to move forward. And in fact, 21 of the 22 mayors around the region supported that plan going forward. The tough part is we have to go to a referendum. So you get to choose how we're going to pay for that plan. I don't get to choose. We get to put forward a question that the provincial government is going to determine, but we get to choose. I think it's vitally important to support that plan going forward. We have 1 million more people moving into this region in the next 25 years. 600,000 cars will come with that. We can't do nothing. We have to do something. And I look forward to engaging everyone as we move forward to a referendum in March 2015.
Thank you, Greg. Eric? Certainly. Do you support the 2014 Mayor's Transportation Plan? What funding model would you recommend for the referendum this spring?
Well, as you know, I'm a mayoral candidate here. I'm aware that Port Coquitlam didn't get in on the West Coast Express or the SkyTrain transportation lines. So, but there's no funding that I know of for that, and the only solution is to create links with West Coast Express.
Thank you, Greg. You have 30 seconds to ask a question.
I'm not sure if I have a question.
If you do.
My question, I guess, would be is, what transportation solutions do you think we need for the city of Port Coquitlam to be better connected both here in Port Coquitlam and throughout the region?
Well, the only transportation is personal transportation at present that's really effective. But if connections to the different rapid transit stations that were more convenient, and I think that would be one.
Great, gentlemen. So the next question we're actually going to go to is on the screen. It's the one that has the highest amount of votes. So The response will be first from Eric. Do you support new private sector green solutions to increase recycling after source separation and create local jobs, even if this competes with Metro Vancouver's desire to do more incineration with tax dollars?
By private sector green solutions, you're talking about businesses that recycle and make profits from greens, wastes, and so on. I think that, yeah, those are, I would agree with those if they contribute to the community with kickback of funding to community projects.
Craig?
Thank you. You know, Metro Vancouver, and I think this question's up there because I'm also the chair of Metro Vancouver. I'm not sure if this is a Port Coquitlam question, but Metro Vancouver, through its policies and working with local government, and frankly, Port Coquitlam being the leader in solid waste management, not only in Metro Vancouver, but across British Columbia and in some cases across this country. So thanks to you, our garbage rates actually in Port Coquitlam at $168 a resident have stayed the same for the last 6 years, and they're proposed to stay the same next year, which is unheard of. We have the lowest garbage rates in Metro Vancouver here at Port Coquitlam. The green economy, because of the diversion that you've worked on so hard, actually produces 850 jobs in Metro Vancouver. We've had $105 million of private sector investment in the last 5 years in those green jobs. And as Metro Vancouver and as local governments that run and own Metro Vancouver, we hope to have that to continue to go forward, because that's so important to what we need to do. Because the most important thing is to reduce the amount of garbage we create and get the most amount of recycling out of the system.
Thanks, Greg. Eric, do you have a question?
Yeah, so, well, it's not related to that, it's to
Sorry, Eric, the question has to pertain to the question on the board. The subject matter. The one that says 25, private sector green solutions.
Well, that's already been covered. This is a Metro Vancouver representative here, Greg Moore. I'm
Okay,
sure
go ahead.
he's well versed on whatever Metro Vancouver has briefed him on.
So if you have a question, you can pose it.
Well, why doesn't Metro Vancouver contribute if they're getting lower rates and the lowest rates? Why aren't all the prices lower for residents?
In what area? Water, sewer, garbage, air quality?
All of the Metro Vancouver services.
Well, Metro Vancouver Services, we're the sewer provider, the water provider, garbage, clean air, parks, affordable housing, regional planning. Last year, the rate increase for Metro Vancouver for the average single family home was $3 a house. This year, it's $5 a house. So it's actually the increase increase in costs in Metro Vancouver is going up about half the rate of CPI. So I think we're doing a really good job in Metro Vancouver of controlling our costs and ensuring that we deliver high quality water and sewer systems, as well as garbage recycling, clean air around the region.
So we're off to the next question because you guys still have time. You don't have to do just two. So we'll start back with Greg for your first response of a minute. How do you propose to deal with traffic congestion in the Fremont area?
So this is an area that is a real challenge, no doubt. Nobody likes that Nicola doesn't connect. Nobody on council agrees that Nicola shouldn't connect. The challenge is it's a private sector landowner that owns that piece of property. So we have options. We can expropriate, which is really expensive, or what we're doing right now is working with that landowner so that we can put Nicola through, because the transportation system there just does not work until the connection is created. But at the same time, we want to make sure that we're managing your money correctly. So going down the expropriation path and spending millions of dollars for that, just, in my opinion, wasn't appropriate when we knew that we needed to get the private sector landowner on board and helping us with that. We're very close to that. I hope that within the short term, within the next year, they'll be on board. We'll be able to create that connection, and we'll see a better flow between the new part of the Fremont connector or Fremont area, where the Walmart and Canadian Tire is, and the housing, and the older part where Home Depot and Costco is. And that will help us with the transportation solution in that area.
Thanks, Greg. Eric?
Yes. What has been happening with development cost charges since there's been so much development in that area? Has Port Coquitlam benefited from that?
So Eric, this is actually your turn to respond to the question. So what would you propose to deal with traffic congestion in the Fremont area?
Well, all that traffic congestion is there because of development. And I don't see putting extra arterial routes through neighborhoods as a solution when the Cedar Drive thoroughfare is there already. And it's a Coquitlam issue really for traffic from Burke Mountain through the Fremont area.
Okay, Greg, do you have a question or you want me to ask you another one?
Why don't we ask the other one?
Okay. I'm not sure about these numbers in this question, but it's not the next one, it's the one down. At present, business taxes pay almost 3.5 times the residential rate, but consume less than 50% of services. What plans are in place to attract business and balance out the tax rate? Yes, Eric.
Well, the new developments of in the industrial areas near River Bridge and in all that area, the high rises and so on. If there's development cost charges, I think that that should contribute to finding solutions for business, which there's big increases in opportunity for business right there.
Greg, you have a minute.
So one of the things that we did in the last 3 years is we started the Mayor's Task Force on Business Development Opportunity. And the goal of that was to create a better environment for business to succeed in Port Coquitlam, to learn how they can procure Port Coquitlam business, and how we can connect businesses to work better together to find local things. The first thing we did, and I won't bore you, we cut a whole bunch of red tape to make it easier for businesses to get through the system when they have to deal with the city. But we just announced this past week a few different initiatives that I think are really exciting for our business community. We're starting a jobs board in Port Coquitlam. So the city will host a jobs board so local businesses can post the jobs that they're looking for, and hopefully we can connect PoCo residents to PoCo businesses so you can live and work in the same community. That'll save businesses money because it's very expensive to hire, but it'll also get someone that lives close to your business to work there. We're also going to take the business licenses and make them searchable so that businesses can find each other. Because it's quite hard sometimes to find businesses on the Google so that we can actually get them to connect together and have more success at B2B.
Thanks, Greg. Eric? Yeah, so what plans do you have in place to attract business and balance out the tax rate? Sorry. Yes. I was so enraptured. Eric, you have to ask you a question. You're in the last minute of your session.
Well, to attract business, I think business opportunity is there with the developments. And, any business that wants retail business especially is there too.
So I think there might have been a question in there.
I'll tell you a couple last things that we're doing with the business affairs task force on business development opportunities is, like I said, we're going to make the business licenses searchable so businesses can find each other. We're also going to make our procurement process more Port Coquitlam business friendly. So Port Coquitlam businesses can procure the city business so that we can hopefully have more of that here. So we're not seeing businesses from outside coming in and scooping work from our side. We're going to start a business alley. So at May Day, you're going to see part of it is local businesses being able to promote what they're doing there to expose them to the 15,000 or so people that come to downtown Port Coquitlam. And the last thing that we're going to do is to make business more successful is we're going to do a 60-minute business license next year at Port Coquitlam.
Great. And that concludes the mayoral debate portion of this event. Thank you, gentlemen. Thank you, Greg and Eric. Next, we have Riaz Lakhani and Nancy McCurra. Want to drop that down, Nancy? Are you okay? So your first question is a chamber question. It will go to Nancy first, and Riaz will respond. Second, what is Port Coquitlam's competitive advantage, And how do you believe that we leverage that against other municipalities in the Metro Vancouver region?
Our competitive advantage is to do with our heritage and our PoCo trails. Competitively, we could still enhance even more with this. And if we have a bigger vision, bring more businesses in to enhance our arts and culture within the community, I feel that we can build an even bigger base with our communities multiculturally within our community.
Yes?
I think for the businesses and for the residents, I think the biggest advantage that we have as a city is having the rails and the water connected to our city. That's the biggest asset that we have, being on the shore side, having the rails passing through our city, and a great connection to Highway 1 and to all the communication and the transit that could happen around Metro Vancouver. So it's a great place to attract businesses, whether it be through rail, through water, or through roads. I think we're ideally placed for all of that. That also helps our residential areas in significantly. I think the trails that run through our around our rivers are awesome and are a great place to go out with families and spend time. We have great parks, recreational pieces that are currently there. We do need to improve as our population grows. We definitely need a lot more, but we are ideally placed for all those pieces.
Thanks, Reyes. Now, Nancy, do you have a question?
Yes, I was curious when you spoke about the port meeting the rails. Can you explain? Were you expecting maybe a port would be perhaps?
Well, it isn't off the table, but basically we are connected by the rivers, right? So at the end of the day, yes, there's no plans from Port of Metrovan to actually have a port here, but it doesn't stop smaller ferries from commuting using that route. So those options are definitely a link between the road, rail, and the river.
Great, Reyes, you can ask a question of Nancy on the same topic.
I actually have no question.
That's okay. We'll jump over to the public question. And I think this is a good one.
Which one?
Oh, there it is. Is there an area of priority that you feel you could bring change to the city of Port Coquitlam? Where and what would you be and how would you do so? And Reyes, you have the first response.
So I think we've really spent a lot of dollars bringing all these apartment buildings and townhouses into our core downtown area, and on the other side as well. I think what we really haven't focused on in the last couple of years, we may have done a few pieces, but nowhere close to the amount of people that we brought into the city, is our recreational facilities. I hear that all the time from everyone that we need more recreational facilities. If my kid currently, if I have to enroll him and if I don't call right away, he's got to wait another month before he gets into a swimming lesson or a skating lesson or a soccer class. And I think with the community growing more and more every day, I think that needs to be our biggest focus in the next few years. The second focus is transit. I think currently we have one or a couple bus routes that loop through all areas in Port Coquitlam, go through the smaller streets, alleys, and takes me hours to get to a place where I can get in 10 minutes.
Nancy.
Priorities to bring to Port Coquitlam. I think what I would like to see is a vision where more of our youth are included in a lot more things that we actually do within council. I would like to see them part of our tables where we sit, as well as people with disabilities, so they can come and speak to council, to our different subcommittees, and bring the voice of the people to us and we to them. We could go to social studies classes, they could come and liaison with us. With this could then go to doing more with our growing our local goods and services within the community and how we can enhance businesses to come in. I think we should, at some point, hopefully we do not see empty stores all around on the outskirts in Westwood. I'd love to see those stores filled with a thriving business We need better bus connections.
Thank you, Nancy. Marianne, do you have a question?
Sure, yeah. How would you propose bringing like the youth and the elderly and the seniors to the table? Like, would that be a committee of some sort? Like, what are we looking at?
Yes, currently we have committees on council. We have the Smart Growth Committee, Transportation Committee, or different subcommittees.
Yes, and people are participating in those committees, right? So how are we going to attract youth and the other members that you just talked about?
They don't actually commit as an advisory on those boards. They are not selected in that manner. I'd like to see subcommittees for youth as well, or identify.
One question. Thanks, Nancy. Nancy, do you have a question of Brianne?
So in regards to your proposal for local goods and services, what do you have to bring forth that you thought would be a benefit?
I don't remember saying local goods and services, but regardless, they are important, and we definitely need to promote local businesses. As our mayor pointed, that we're gonna have the business alley, to promote local businesses as well. So I think that is going to be a good factor. We are going to have some online presence. Again, the current council is working on providing us the online options to search other local businesses and work with them. So I think those are good steps to move forward.
Thank you, and your time is up. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
So our next candidates will be Amrit Gill and Mike Forrest. So Amrit, you will respond first.
Sure.
And Mike will be second. And the question from the chamber is, small business is the lifeblood of a city. What can the city do to stimulate the development of affordable office space?
Small businesses are very important to a small town and a community. We can see with Fremont Village there that we've got a lot of big stores coming in. We need to learn from other communities. If we can compare, if we can learn from White Rock. White Rock has Morgan Crossing as well as they have historic, White Rock down on the beach. How do those communities keep both businesses together? Also Langley. Langley has Fort Langley. They also have Willowbrook Shopping Mall. We need to understand and learn from those communities how we can keep both our, big box stores and our small stores working together. Port Coquitlam, I believe, like the mayor was saying, they're starting incentives that need to keep all our businesses in basically historic, downtown Port Coquitlam. And we need to be there for our businesses. We need to support our business, whether it be through incentives, tax incentives, online ads, whatever we can do. We need to help our businesses thrive and keep our, historic Port Coquitlam going the way it should be.
Mike,
Repeat the question, please.
sure. Small business is the lifeblood of a city. What can the city do to stimulate the development of affordable office space?
Affordable office space downtown. My sense is that we have to develop more pieces of the puzzle downtown to get office space. Work with the BIA to find the places where office space would be appropriate to certainly produce enough critical mass so that we can make it worthwhile for businesses to do business downtown. Develop places where it is enhanced, the places that exist. There's a place to be. Downtown, if you've been there, is a very vital downtown that isn't common in the Lower Mainland. And so let's enhance it. Let's make it worthwhile for businesses to be downtown and so they can make some money. And we need to do some work on zoning. We need to change zoning in place commercial entities, commercial business, in some of the things that are buildings and places that are presently not allowed within our zoning bylaws.
Thank you, Michael. Amrit, do you have a question for him?
Like you said, that we need to change zoning and develop Port Coquitlam, downtown Port Coquitlam. Downtown Port Coquitlam is currently already developed. If you look at both sides of the store, downtown Port Coquitlam, there's about four office spaces currently vacant. The two sushi places are possibly talking to those owners are moving out of downtown Port Coquitlam. How do you plan on keeping these businesses in downtown Port Coquitlam as we develop more spaces? Are those spaces going to remain vacant as well?
Well, in my opinion, the downtown needs to have critical mass. We need people to go to businesses in the downtown. And therefore, we need density downtown. And we have to have more people to spend some money to make it worthwhile for those businesses to be there so that they don't go and find another place to do business. They want to do it downtown.
Thank you, gentlemen. We have another question. I'm going to edit this one because I don't know if the numbers are right, Mike. At present, a large percentage of new tax dollars goes towards paying labor costs such as city management and staff. How do you plan to manage these costs over the next 4 years to ensure the taxpayer is not paying them?
The taxpayer will be paying them. There's any doubt that you and I are going to be paying them. We've initiated in this council something that is really exciting, and it's CIA, okay? Continuous improvement assessment. John, did I get it right? Continuous improvement assessment. And it has to do with a lot of processes that are going on in City Hall, that have gone on in City Hall for eons, and we're investigating every one of them in order to find better methods of doing stuff and having an ability to do it more affordably and better and new ways. And we got all kinds of energy in City Hall that's interested to do that, which is vital. So that's how we're going to move, I think, to manage the costs over the next 4 years. And I'm not sure about the 70%, as you said, but it is a large percentage of our cost. We need to manage it. We have been managing, as Glenn Pollock said. The reality is we actually decreased our taxes last year as a result of this management.
Thank you, Riaz. Amrit, sorry.
The tax dollars do need to be managed, definitely. We need to look at basically how we can maintain our services and all our systems that we have in Port Coquitlam. You don't want to be paying a negative 0.23% as City Council's done right now, and then be paying a 4% increase later on. The City Council did say yes, they did go negative 0.23, but they also went plus 2.3 on their water levy as well. So all these costs are there through the tax dollars. But we need to, again, look at our services. What do we have? We want to maintain our service. We want to manage it. We want to keep it at par. We want to keep the best service possible. Whether this be from street cleaning to parks cleaning to garbage cleaning, anything there, we need to look at our fiscal budget, ensure that we have a budget, maintain our budget, and create a plan that's not just short term, but long term. Let's look not 2 years down the road, 4 years down the road, let's look 6 years down the road, let's look 10 years down the road and see what we can accomplish.
Thanks, Mike. Do you have a question for Amrit?
The question would be, Amrit, do you understand who's in control of the water costs in Port Coquitlam?
I personally do not know who controls the water costs in Port Coquitlam at the moment. I do know that there is a water management program being developed in Port Coquitlam with water meters that will be installed in housing. How this program works at the moment, honestly, I do not know. But if anybody does wish to know how it works, I can definitely do some research. You have my number on the flyers. You can call me anytime, and I can try and get an answer for you guys.
Thank you, gentlemen. We have one more question. Making sure that they're not the same
As
ones.
long as it's not from Dave, okay?
You saw that. I'm not going to say that. I'm not going to do that one. So, what do you propose to do about the increasing crime rates in PoCo and resulting impact on the local community? So that would be Emmett.
We need to be aware of what's going to happen, especially with the Evergreen line. We need to see what's coming this way. If you look at previous, SkyTrain lines, where has crime moved? It's moved along the line. It's gone from Wally to New Westminster to downtown and back, right? So now that this line's coming here, we need to be aware of what's coming towards Port Coquitlam. We need to have a plan in place, whether it be police officers, fire services, community patrolling. What can we do to reduce crime? Along with crime, I've worked in the Surrey Crime Prevention Society, so I've gone out and I've seen what we can do. We need to light up areas that are dark. We need to, have stuff, out there where it makes it less possible for people to commit crime. Whether it be block watch, daylighting, anything like that, we need to be proactive in this, and we need to ensure that we can get focused and reduce crime.
Thank you, Mike.
Well, in general terms, I would not agree that crime is on the increase in Port Coquitlam. In specific, there are a couple of individual crimes that are in the increase, and one was theft from Ottawa, I believe it was. In any event, we need to work more in communities, police stations. We need to be proactive with respect to community police. Our local area, Jody McNeish in our community police station downtown is doing a great job. There's an expansion in that building that's going to happen, and we will have a better community police station to assist us with finding out how to handle some crime and have input from people. The other thing is we deal with hotspots with our OCMP here, and I think that's a successful program that's gone on in recent years, where we focus crime in the areas where crime analysts come up with the position of where most of the crime is happening. We focus on it. It's amazing the number of times where one individual taken off the streets reduces the crime rate by 20%.
Thanks, Mike. Amit, do you have a question?
I don't have a question. I just agree with Mike that we need to be proactive with our community policing.
Great, thank you, gentlemen. Our next candidates up are Glenn Pollock and Aaron Demakara. So Glenn, you'll be answering the question first.
Okay, thanks.
So what transit options should Port Coquitlam advocate for to connect the city with the rest of the region? How should Port Coquitlam best make use of the Evergreen Line?
I think the Mayor Moore was, as he said earlier, he was the mayor, the person from the Mayor's Council that was put forward to put the plan, the Mayor's plan in place, and they did a great job. And one of the things that Greg advocated for in that plan, and he had the support of our council, was to add B-line buses. To add like Lougheed Highway's got a big median in the middle. We want to add buses, B-line buses that run every 10 or 15 minutes or even 5 minutes at peak hours from Maple Ridge right to the Evergreen Line to feed that Evergreen Line. I think that's, I think the provincial government needs to recognize what a great plan the Mayor's Council put together. They had funding options there. They did a great job. If we look at that plan, and especially specifically to our neighborhood, the B-lines and stuff, I think that's the way to go. I also think more community buses. I mean, Coquitlam's done planning for transit-oriented community in Burke Mountain, and they got the buses because transit. They're very good money. Thank you.
Thanks, Ben. Aaron.
First of all, because of Evergreen Line is coming to Coquitlam, and for Coquitlam residents, we all will be affected on this, and I would support extra busing. I agree with Glenn, and I don't think so every 5 minutes will happen, but every 10 minutes, 15 minutes, it should happen, because we won't have a SkyTrain station for Coquitlam, but we definitely need extra busing to use the lane from all the way to Coquitlam to Maple Ridge, Peak Meadows.
Great. Glenn, do you have a question, Aaron?
No, I think we agreed on this. More buses.
Okay, we'll go to the public questions. Now, folks, remember you're supposed to be on your iPhones, pumping these ones up, the ones that you really want to have asked. So the first one that isn't. How important for the region is it for mayor and council to be collaborative with Port Moody and Coquitlam? What types of regional issues do you share expertise on? Aaron, you.
Well, this just, we have been starting to talk about this last couple of years, and I personally don't agree with this, because having three cities become one will create more problems, and I don't think so we are ready for that. And this study should be studied, this project should be studied, and down the line 10 years from now, because each city is growing rapidly. Look at the Port Coquitlam. We have all these new complexes and new buildings. I mean, Coquitlam is in the same area, and having each one city will create so many different problems. And as a Port Coquitlam, I'm sorry, we are not ready for this yet, and I personally don't support that.
Thanks, Glenn. It's not the question that's on the screen, actually. It's just coming up here. I'll repeat it. It's how important for the region is it for mayor and council to be collaborative with Port Moody and Coquitlam, and what types of regional issues do you share expertise on?
Yeah, I think it's crucial we work together. We've done a great job of that since this council came in, and the other Port Moody and Coquitlam. We've met 3 times a year, and the main things I think we need to deal with are transportation. That's the biggest one. Advocating together as a group for buses, and increased transportation, like you said earlier, transit options. We also need to plan our road networks. I mean, we're going to we're gonna be butting heads with them on the Fremont thing, I assume. I don't know how that's gonna go, but we've done a good job of working with them. It hasn't always had the result. They're putting a high-rise in at Westwood and Lincoln that's gonna be 10 years from some townhouses in PoCo, and they didn't listen to us on that. But other things, transit, of course, other regional issues that affect us all. Health, I started a collaborative health team with the Tri-Cities. As you know, the Chamber's involved with the other two cities, and there's many. The better we work together, the better off we are.
Thanks. Aaron, do you have a question of Councillor?
What would you do for make our seniors' life a little bit better than what they have now?
So the question has to pertain to your question has to pertain to the original question.
Okay, well, the question you just answered?
Yes.
Okay. Do you personally agree with all three cities become one?
No, I don't agree with the amalgamation. I think it's an absolute non-starter.
I agree with that, yeah.
Great, that Aaron, you're done. Thanks, gentlemen. That's your question. You're done too. Sorry, folks, we're just working on our technical difficulty here. So take a deep breath. Next up will be Laura DuPont and Gerald Penner, but just take a breath. Calm. Meditate. So Laura will have you answering the question first, and Gerald will be answering second. This is the chamber question, so it's not on the screen. Sorry. How do you plan on maintaining the budget surplus while keeping tax rates low?
I can hear you. Maintaining the budget surplus. I can hear you. Maintaining the budget surplus while keeping taxes low.
Yes.
That question. We and are paying attention to every dollar we spend in the city.
Sure. How do you plan on maintaining the budget surplus while keeping tax rates low?
I guess maintaining the budget surplus is finding ways to produce revenue within the city. Maybe coming up with innovative ideas. I don't have any quick answers to what those might be, but increasing revenue and ensuring that we have a good tax base to draw from.
You need to put the mic closer to her mouth.
Sorry.
Daryl?
Thank you. Well, the trick is to keep that surplus as low as possible, because that's the overage, and we have to ultimately budget slightly over so that we aren't going back each time during the year to amend our entire budget. So the way that you try to do that is you continually assessment and improvement assessment, CIA. We talked about this earlier. So we're always looking at how do you best spend the dollars and where can we cut spending and be the most efficient at that.
So Laura, you can ask Daryl a question.
So what specific areas would you be able to consider cutting spending in your mind?
Well, when you look at, for instance, our fleet, looking at all the different vehicles that we've got, to ensure that when we're purchasing those vehicles that they're similar. So we're not buying 5 different types of trucks, we're buying one particular truck that we can then buy the same fuel filters and oil filters and so forth.
Great. So the first public question is, my screen's not refreshing. So, what 3 core values do you think matters most to residents of Port Coquitlam, and how do you align with those values? And Daryl, you go first.
Well, I mean, community safety, I think we all have to feel safe in our communities. I think a sense of community, it is vitally important that we feel that we belong to a community. And just I don't know, I'm kind of lost as far as the core values. I mean, they're kind of mom and apple pie kind of things. It doesn't matter where you live, it doesn't matter what city, what country. We all want to have the same values as far as a community, and so I mean I've lived here most of my life and have raised my family here, and so all those values certainly align with myself because that's why we love living here.
Thank you, Laura.
I would agree with Daryl that things that are important to the community are keeping our city livable, making sure that we don't have too many cars on the roads, that we keep a reasonable level of transit, and our city is walkable and enjoyable, that we continue to encourage recreation and an active, healthy community. People talk about that a lot when I speak to them on the doorstep. And as you said, feeling safe in Port Coquitlam, and that we can walk around our city without having to worry. So yeah, I agree.
You're in agreement. Do you have a question for her, or do you want me to give you another one?
We can move on.
Okay. This is a repeat, but we're interested to hear what you have to say. Small business is the lifeblood of the city, and what can you do to stimulate the development of it in our region?
Well, want me to take it?
Sorry, Laura.
Oh, okay. So small businesses, I guess promoting small businesses, from what I understand from the chamber, is we have some of the smallest or lowest business tax rates in Metro Vancouver. So I think that is something that is typical to draw businesses into the community, and that's a good thing. I think there are other ways, like continuing to build a vibrant downtown core, which can encourage people to set up shop downtown and hopefully bring in more pedestrians and beef up the downtown core that we currently have.
Sure.
It's kind of interesting because the last question actually goes to this one too, because a business comes into a community because it's a great community to do business in. Tax rates are really important. You have to be competitive, obviously, with the region, but it is, what is that community like? What are the people like? We've talked to lots of, for instance, high-tech companies that are looking at coming into Port Coquitlam. One of the reasons that they're looking at Port Coquitlam is because there's a real sense of community here. We have our trails and stuff, and I know that sounds kind of odd, but people in that industry really gravitate to the out-of-office experience, so that when they come back to the office, they can work. So having our trail system, having all of the festivals that we've got here, having competitive tax rates, going through, having a good solid city hall that people can come in there and they're going to get a straight answer. That's really what businesses look for.
Great. Laura, do you have a question of Daryl?
Okay, Daryl, we have a wonderful sense of community in Port Coquitlam. As the area around us continues to grow, including the Tri-Cities, how do we hang on to that sense of community? How do we not lose it with the increase in traffic and the increase in big city issues that come?
Well, the real jewel that we have here is the fact that we have a downtown core. That is a very small town kind of thing. If you go to New West or Burnaby or Coquitlam, you say, well, where's downtown? There's not a specific identity. So by having that and promoting those things, and promoting, again, back to our festivals, we have May Day that is absolutely excellent. The Salmon Festival is awesome. It draws a lot of people into the community, and the car show. So, yeah, that's.
Thanks, Daryl, and your time is up. I'd like to remind the audience that if you have questions, write the questions down on your forms, and I believe we have one of our chamber employees, Paige, will come around. Please put your hand up, and she'll pick up questions for you. The next contestants up, Sherry Carroll and Wayne Markland. So the first question will be a chamber question. The first response will come from Sherry, and the second from Wayne. So Sherry, industrial land across the Metro Vancouver region is shrinking. How do you propose to protect industrial zone lands in Port Coquitlam?
Well, Port Coquitlam's industrial lands the light industrial lands are essentially for housing. Those are the lands that we've actually put aside for light industry. So in order to protect what we've got, you have to keep them in business. And that means you have to pay attention to the businesses that are already there. There's lots of interesting options that have been coming up of the current council that I think might actually help a great deal. So that's the first thing. The second thing is, don't let the light industrial lands get rezoned for residential use. That way.
Wayne?
Thank you. Can you repeat the question, please?
Sure. Industrial land across the Metro Vancouver region is shrinking. How do you propose to protect industrial land zones in Port Coquitlam?
Well, I believe that we can actually increase, change zoning in some of the light industrial areas so that we can increase office spaces that are necessary where we have warehouses that are sitting half empty and we're unable to even use them as warehouses. So by pertaining the zoning change and bringing an office where we're creating more employment and we're also creating more businesses that are coming into the land, and we're going to be using the land for industrial purposes. We have some top manufacturers already that are in Port Coquitlam, and I believe that if we continue using our industrial lands for business, we'll be fine as long as we don't go to residential and no development that way.
So Sherry, do you have a question for Wayne?
Yes. One of the things that's a problem with our light industrial lands is that it's really hard to get at them on transit. So if you change the zoning to have more office space in those light industrial areas, you can't get people there. Office space really should reside in what I call downtown core, either here or the north side. So that in general, once you have a look at the businesses that are actually going to go in there.
Is it a question, Sherry? Because you're on time. Wayne, I think there was a question in there if you want to take it out.
The question is, what do you think about that? Because it's a really
Thank you, Sherry.
Interesting. That's a loaded question. I do believe that you're right. There is a lack of traffic going through that area. But if it is an industrial area, there are major routes that do go through it. As we know, Mayoral bypass goes through, Broadway goes through, Pitt River. All that area does have some type of connection. So there are routes that people can use, and they could ride their bikes.
Great, thank you. We're going to go to one more question from the public, and it's the one on the far right that has 9 votes. Would you support the redevelopment of PoCo Recreational Complex? If so, please elaborate on your vision for the new center and what it would include. And if you can prioritize that 1 to 3, that would be great. And Wayne, you'll respond first.
Number 1, yes, absolutely. We need to develop our complex. We need more ice rinks. I would love to see a developer come in like Planet Ice and develop that area so we could have commercial retail down below, alongside the rinks, and then we would be able to have a facility upstairs so that people that come into our communities and spend their money to have food and drinks after and come into our downtown section. By developing more retail spaces right along that area, we would be able to make sure that our dollars are spent and the developers would be able to bring in most of their money so the taxpayers doesn't get out with a lot of the expense.
Thank you, Sherry.
This is a very interesting question because there's no doubt in my mind, not everybody, that the rec center needs to be refurbished at the very least. We need a third ice rink. We need accessible access to the medical room. So it may very well be the case that there'll be a real complete rethink. That raises the tricky question of how do you pay for that? You can actually do it in a couple of interesting ways. You can hive off some of the budget for, say, roads to pay for that capital cost, or you can impose a short-term tax rate that comes off after 2 or 3 years once it's paid off. You still have to deal with the operational cost of that new, large, expanded facility. And that means more people, more staff, more costs, more money. But I think we need to do it. We just have to figure out how.
Wayne, do you have a question?
Yeah, are you opposed to developers coming in and taking a percentage of the cost?
I'm not a big fan of developers taking a percentage of any costs for anything because they need help. and then you're stuck. That's just me.
Great. Well, we'll go off to another public question. Sherry, you're going to answer this one first. Do you support, I'm presuming that should be integrated holistic mental health and addiction services, such as family counseling, exercise, nutrition, 12-step, 24-hour treatment models, and housing services in our community?
Well, yes, I do, but as a rule, they are separate functions. And they also have people who do report to different agencies. So it's very difficult to have an integrated set of like that unless you have an institution like Riverview used to be, where that was actually the case. So in that instance, I would say yes, but we'll have to rethink it.
Great, Wayne.
Can you repeat?
It's hard. Do you support integral holistic mental health and addiction services such as family counseling, exercise, nutrition, 12-step, 24-hour treatment models, and housing services?
Absolutely. There's so many issues that we have in our community, not in just our community, but all over the Lower Mainland. People that are using methadone come in, they're homeless, they sleep in the streets. We have some great facilities that the mayor and also before us already have in place. We have shelters for people, and I believe that we can make a difference by actually putting out a little bit more money into these community services.
Great, and we have no time for questions. You guys use the full time. Well done. And last but not least, Michael Wright and Brad West. Two incumbents.
Hello?
Oh, there you are, Michael. You're so powerful. Okay, the chamber question. Would you support amalgamation with Coquitlam and Port Moody? Why or why not? Different people, folks. Michael, that's your answer.
Would I support amalgamation? No, I wouldn't support amalgamation. We are three distinct communities. We each have our own character. As was pointed out earlier, Port Coquitlam, I think, is unique in as much as it has a beautiful downtown area. We are the envy of a number of other municipalities in the region who cannot identify with a downtown here. I think that if we were to amalgamate with the other municipalities, we might be expected to accept some of their debt rates as well. And I don't think that the residents of the city of Port Coquitlam would want to start paying the debt of other municipalities. So I'm quite happy with the way things are at the moment. I know that it's a question that comes up practically every election time, and I have given the same answer for the last few years.
Thank you, Michael.
I could just say ditto, but I will expand a little bit. No, I don't support amalgamation. I think Port Coquitlam is a distinct community, a special community. We don't want the other two dragging us down, really.
Well said. And I presume there's no questions?
No, I had 40 seconds left. I was going to say that I know that amalgamation comes up because people believe that it's a way to reduce costs, but in fact, in most places that it has occurred, the exact opposite has happened. Costs have gone up. So I believe Port Coquitlam is a well-run, efficient city, a unique city, and we should continue to be so. Thank you.
So gentlemen, do you have questions of each other, or can we go to another question?
Let's move on.
Okay, thank you. Please share with us what skills you believe, with both of your experience, are necessary to be an effective city councillor. Oh, sorry, Mr. West.
First and most important, I believe you can never forget who put you where you are. On city council, there's a number of pressure. You get pressure from developers who bring forward applications, from city staff who have their own perspective, from all sorts of special interest groups. Key, I think, is remembering who put you where you are, which is the residents of this community, and to act in their best interest. You have to have an open mind, You have to be willing to put in a lot of work, a lot of long hours, and to be able to work collaboratively with the team. When you're elected, you're one of 7 people. And it's only working cooperatively and together that we've been able to achieve what we have in the city. So those are the values and qualities I think are important.
Thank you. Councillor Ray?
The only thing, or a couple of things I'll add to that, one of them is that the support of your family is very important. Being on city council is not just attending a council meeting once a week. In fact, every single candidate who runs and is successful will turn around and say, I never knew how much time I had to spend being a city councillor. Nobody realizes before they get there how much time to spend. So I think supportive family is very important, because you're not going to be home for supper, and your wife or husband, depending on the case, will be complaining like mad that it's all cold and it's your own fault.
Do you gentlemen want to ask? Do you want to ask a question of Councillor Ray?
I was going to ask him for marital advice because I got married a year ago, and so far so good. My wife is still, we're still together. Michael, I know you and Falco have been together a long time, so any advice for a young guy?
We've been married for 51 years now. And certainly she's had much cause to complain about the hours. And one thing, just as a note here, I have never yet, in all the time I've been on council, managed to estimate how long a council meeting will last.
I apologize for that.
I have no question.
Okay, we've got time for one more question. I'm just trying to find one that we haven't asked the topic on. Okay. A lot of text questions. So this is a new question. I presume it came from the audience. Michael, you'll answer this one first. Do you agree or disagree that the Coast Meridian and Prairie area is ripe for redevelopment? And what would be your vision for that area of PoCo?
Yes, I would agree that the area is ripe for redevelopment. One of my biggest disappointments is that we have never been able to manage the businesses in that area to form a BIA. There have been a number of attempts at various times for the business owners to get together, like the downtown, who has a very successful BIA, and to have a similar one on the north side. One of the problems that we've had with businesses wanting to renovate in the north side is a problem that we have created ourselves, really, and that is that if the cost of the renovation exceeds 75% of the total value, the assessed value of the property, then you have to include sprinklers. And because it is a strata, I'm thinking of the pharmacy side, it's a strata development there.
Thank you, Michael.
Oh, talk to me afterwards.
Brad.
I could pick up where you left off, Michael. No, I mean, absolutely. I think we have spent a lot of time on revitalizing and beautifying the downtown, and that's been a very worthwhile and important project. But we can't ignore the north side, and particularly Prairie and Coast Meridian. The roads in many of those areas are in horrific shape. It's something that council recognizes, that is putting together a plan to address. We want to make the necessary investment to recognize that that is an important area of the city, and to bring the sort of revitalization that's been able to occur in downtown also to the north side. So I think it'll be a priority for the next council for sure.
Do you have a question, Michael?
No questions.
Well, then we've come to the end of our time. Thank you, gentlemen. So, folks, how are you doing? You need to stand up and stretch. So we've concluded the actual debate portion of this event, and the next step will be closing comments. So each candidate will be offered the opportunity to speak for 1 minute, and we're going to hold them to that. And then we'll be here to mingle, and they can chat with you afterwards. First, we'd like to hear closing statements from Mayor Greg Moore.
Thank you so much. And again, thank you to the Chamber and thank you to participating in our local democracy. I've been honored, absolutely honored to serve this community. I can't think of a better job in the world than to serve the city of Port Coquitlam. I've been honored to be your mayor for the last 6 years. The reason we say 4 years, because it changes to a 4-year term now. So I hope that I can ask for your vote to continue to be your mayor, to continue to engage you, to continue to be transparent in what we're doing, to be fiscally responsible, and fight for those issues that we need to on the regional stage. I think I've proven that I can step up to that regional game and make sure that Port Coquitlam's voice is heard there as well, because those decisions there affect us here locally. I think it's important that we bring that good governance to council. I think I've been able to do that over the last 6 years. I look forward to doing it with the next next 4 years, sorry, tongue twisted, as we go forward. So I thank you for your support, and on November 15th, please re-elect Greg Moore.
Thank you, Greg. Next is Eric Terboner.
All heard everyone talk about all the good things, and I just would like to have your support to be bringing the good things to all the residents of Port Coquitlam. This has been really for business topics, but I think there's a lot of room for growth in this city for relieving taxpayers, residents of all the pressures of requirements to deal with reduced services, and I think people don't those reduced services. There is no reductions really in costs except for the one last year, which suspiciously seems like an election trick. So vote for Eric.
Thank you, Eric. Next is Riaz Lakhani.
Well, I would like to thank each and every one of you for attending this event this evening. I would also like to thank Tri-Cities Chamber of Commerce for organizing this event. Port Coquitlam is our home, our city, and it is also our future. I care about what our city plans for our future. It is where our children go to school, it is where our parents have chosen to grow old, and it is where we will eventually retire. I have knocked on thousands of doors. While everyone is busy with their day-to-day lives, they still, at the end of the day, care about what we bring to their future, about what the city is planning for their future. You are all here today because you care about what our future holds for the city. And I am running because I care. Let's work together towards building a strong, safe, and healthy community. Vote Riaz Lakhani on November 15th. Together we can and we will make a difference. I look forward to your support. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Riaz. Next is Nancy McCurra.
Tri-City Chamber of Commerce, thank you for hosting this event. Have you ever wondered what the city of Port Coquitlam will be like in 10, 20, or 30 years? Port Coquitlam's population is expected to increase by 28,400 people by 2041. I have survived 4 teenagers in the house at one time. Our family is deeply rooted in the community and volunteers in hockey, lacrosse, FAPS, pitch, Parks and Rec, BC Transplant Society, and Paul's Place. Currently, I serve on executive leadership positions. As your citizens advisor on the Smart Growth Committee, I hear what you have to say on the doorsteps, and I am already voicing your concerns at meetings. I have regularly attended council meetings for the past 4 years. With your vote and my leadership skills, I will work hard for you if elected. Nancy McCurra, the lady with the Scottish last name.
Thank you, Nancy. Next is Amrit Gill.
In closing, I would just like to thank everybody for coming out again. Like I stated, you want someone that's on council that's proactive, someone that's looking towards the future, someone that's going to take our city to the next step. Whatever I do in my life, whether it be work, school, with kids, family, I take a sense of pride in what I do, and help me with that pride move our city into the next state. So on November 15th, I really look forward to your support, and vote for Gil. Thank you.
Mike for us. Thanks, everyone.
We're gonna, this one? Thank you to the Chamber for putting us together here. And thank you for all of you folks for coming out. Please take 10 other friends of yours and get to the poll. We'd like to increase our poll by what? Maybe up to 40% instead of 20? I appreciate your past support, and I look forward to serving you for another term on City Council. Citizens informed opinions of support, criticism, constructive criticism, opposition help to make councillors make better decisions. And I look forward to your support and for your input to issues in Port Coquitlam. Civic elections, as I say, are a measure of community spirit and energy. So, I'll get this right. On November 15th, ready, set, vote Mike for us.
Thank you, Mike. Next is Councillor Glenn Pollock.
Thanks very much, of course, to the Chamber for putting this on. Thanks very much to all of you for coming out. See a lot of familiar faces here tonight. A lot of people here know me. I've been on, had your support for 2 terms on council, looking for support for a 3rd term. I volunteered in the community for the last 25, 28 years, and I love this community. I'm so proud of being a member of this council and have the support of everybody for everything I've done. I started a collaborative help people for the Tri-Cities, and I got the support of everybody in this council. And we really work well together, and so I just would look for your support one more time, November 15th. Vote Glenn Pollock for council. Thanks very much.
Thanks, Glenn. Aaron Demakaya.
Thanks again for coming out tonight, and thank you for Tri-City Chamber of Commerce for organizing this event. And being a wrestling coach for years, and I'm a former athlete and plus local businessman, and I have been volunteering in the city of Port Coquitlam so many years, and time for me to get in the city hall and be your voice, and be your strong voice, and I will be, I'm going to be passionate about everything you say, and on November 15, vote for Erhan. Thank you.
Thank you, Aaron. Next is Laura DuPont.
Thank you, everybody, for turning out this evening and for this opportunity. I would like to say how much I appreciate living in the city of Port Coquitlam. It's been 17 years, and this is the best city I've ever lived in. We have such a strong sense of community here. That is something we need to hang on to. I encourage you to think about the fact that we really lack diversity on council right now. It's something that would improve our city. So I hope you'll think about the things that I bring: a strong voice for council, a good local economy, protecting the good things about our city. I hope you'll consider electing Laura DuPont for council.
I remember when I was a kid walking down the prairie on a Saturday afternoon, down the middle of the road, and there were no cars, and I wonder when people are going to start moving here. Well, that's how long I've lived here, and I've had the great pleasure of being on this council for 14 years, so been part of a lot of the changes that have happened in Port Coquitlam with the CMO. They are great. Our garbage system, innovative sustainability practices. So if that's what you like, that's what you're going to get if you elect me. I'm looking for your vote again on the 15th. And what's going to happen on the 16th? Thank you very much. Come up to, thanks, Matt.
Thanks, Daryl. Next is Sherry Carroll.
Okay, well, thanks to the Chamber of Commerce, this has been a lot more fun than the last time. But I want to take just a page from the Mayor's the comments about governance issues. So, municipalities are not isolated. They don't work in isolation. They work in context of the regional structure, and there are issues that are quite specific to that particular item. Locally, there's more things to be considered than just what do we want to have. It's a very tricky balance between services delivery, infrastructure maintenance, and low tax rates. So that's the bottom line for everybody working in city council in this municipality, in any municipality. So I'm not going to go through all the things that I thought that we should be talking about, because they've been covered out already pretty much. What I would like to mention is our regional issues are actually fairly important to us. The Evergreen Line completion will really change our local transportation.
Thank you, Sherry.
Most important.
Next is Wayne Markland.
First of all, I broke my glasses the first time I was up here. So. First of all, I want to thank everybody here, Chamber. Thank you so much. It's been an awesome opportunity. I wish we had more chances to speak to you folks. All you folks that have come out and actually show interest, it's fantastic. I was out talking to people in the parking lots, and gas stations, Safeways, being out, kicked out of Costco. I've been everywhere. But I'm going to tell you something right now. When I talk to people when they're coming out of Costco, they're coming out of Safeway, and I said, well, or do you live in Port Coquitlam? No, I live in Maple Ridge. I say, thanks for shopping in Port Coquitlam. Because that's the most important part. We are attracting money. We are the center. So I want to thank everybody, all you folks at home. Go to elect Wayne Markland. I'm going to be releasing platform stuff tomorrow. November 15th, vote for Wayne Markland. Common sense for the citizens of Port Coquitlam.
Councilor Michael Ray.
I am concerned with the reports in the media about municipalities spending spending is out of control. I don't necessarily agree with all the comments in the media. However, these comments do reflect perceptions and the need for elected individuals to take heed regarding the affordability of the services provided at the local level. And as has been pointed out before, as always, it's a balance between affordability and the demands for more services. I'd like to thank the Chamber, as everybody else has, for this evening. It's a different format. I think it works well. And I look forward to seeing that happen again in the future. I'd also like to come out this time. I think that, as we have seen this evening, that you've got a good slate of candidates here to choose from, and that your task is going to be extremely difficult. But on the 15th, make the right choice.
There you go, Fred West. Last but not least.
Thank you very much, and thank you everyone for coming out tonight. I just want to encourage folks to take some time to join us on Remembrance Day at the Wilson Center and then at the Cenotaph, and pay tribute to those who paid the ultimate price for us to exercise the privilege that we have of voting on November 15th. We've heard and discussed issues that affect our community and our quality of life, and to be sure, there are challenges. But as sure as I am of those challenges, I am more convinced that they have not surpassed our ability to solve them. With leadership that is committed to listening to our residents and is guided by your values, I'm confident that Port Coquitlam's best days are still to come. With your support on November 15th, I'll continue to be a strong voice for this community, the community that I love, the community that I've lived my entire life. Please visit my website, www.bradwest.ca, for more information. And thank you again very much.
Well, this concludes the debate and presentation portion of the evening. I'd like to thank everybody for coming. But first, I'd like to thank our two sponsors tonight, was Ani and the Tri-City TV. I'd also like to give a quick shout out to the PoCo Heritage Society. They have an event from 4 to 6 p.m. on Saturday, November 8th, where you can actually meet all the candidates. Thank you to everybody for coming. All of our information will be on our website, and you can actually watch the live debate, and all the questions will be there for your review. So thanks for helping us get the kinks, and next year will only be better. Thanks so much.
Well, you know, you are. Actually, you know, hey, guess what? Go